I found divorce papers in my air vent. I, 29F, and my husband, 30, have been married for 4 years now, together for 7, and it's going fantastically well. He's handsome, cute, kind, loving, and makes me feel safe and wanted and loved and protected. He takes me on dates, shows physical affection wherever he can, and also just makes me feel happy. We have no kids, but we are trying for it. So the other day I was cleaning the house. I'm a housewife, and I was cleaning the air vent at the top of the staircase aisle because we had never cleaned it ever since we bought the house. And when I opened it, there was a box, an unmarked box. I took it out and then opened it, and then there was a note, more about it somewhere down below, and divorce papers, all ready with our names on it. The only thing wasn't filled in was the signatures of us. I was crushed. He had just gone to work after kissing me for 7 to 8 minutes and hugged me, and everything has been going great. So why this? I opened the note, and it read as follows. It is with immense regret and sadness that your love between you and my name has ran its course. I'm sorry, his name. You didn't deserve this. Or you did. I don't know. Maybe she cheated. Maybe you did. Maybe the love didn't last for you. All those times, all those moments of being with her are of no use now. In the end, she did go away. Or you rather made her leave. She's gone, never coming back. It's okay, you fucking R-word pause. You didn't deserve her in the first place. Dumb and stupid and delusional is what you are, since you didn't push her away in the first place. You don't deserve love. You deserve to be shot. Or she cheated on you. I'm sorry for that. She let another man's dick inside her, and she didn't back off. She had an affair, physical or emotional, and she didn't choose you. Forget her. Forgive her. Because to be amity is to be forgiving. And you deserve the peace, my friend. You did everything that you could, but she wanted more. Listen to We Don't Understand Each Other from ST3 and go to sleep. Hit the gym tomorrow. I'm here for you. Take care, mate. Yours, his name. His note was from himself, by himself, for himself. I'm crying right now. I've never cheated on him and never even had the thought of cheating on him. All I want is him to be with me. What should I do? It breaks me to see how he thinks like this. Now for the update. Hello, everyone. Thank you for all your support and the reception to this post. A lot has happened in the last 7 hours, so here is my final update. Just a few things I think you should know. He is depressed, but has gotten considerably better due to medical means and therapy. He was diagnosed with OCD and depression, moderate. He also has been portraying signs of imposter syndrome ever since we started dating, but not to the extent that it could be considered seriously. He is quite smart, as he has been to an Ivy League school and is now currently working as a head of department of R&D in a well-paying job. But he doesn't openly express emotions, struggles with affection display. He does portray how much he loves me and makes me feel wanted, but he's still afraid of opening up. Him and I love each other to the extent that it cannot be described, and I definitely don't want to lose him. The mere thought of cheating disgusts me. How can I throw myself at someone who I don't even know and fucking care about? So he came home. I was sitting on the couch with the box on the coffee table. He tried to kiss me, but froze the moment he saw the box. I broke down at that point, because the thought of him not coming home to me every day broke me. He came to comfort me, but I pushed him away. I am just crying and saying, why? Why would you do this? You think you don't deserve me, or you thought I fucking cheated on you? He said nothing. After I calmed down, he said that he had made the arrangements for this, a contingency plan 3 to 4 months ago, when an office worker of his got cheated on and another office worker's marriage failed as the wife didn't find the husband attractive or interesting anymore. And also, that was coincidentally the time he became a Reddit user, and he started to get frightened about this issue as he read many posts on surviving infidelity and also open marriages and relationships. He didn't tell me that he'd been using Reddit for the last couple of months. He really tried to hold it in, but failed and went to a lawyer and got the papers done just in case. He said that he loves me to death and still finds me insanely attractive to the extent he doesn't want to leave me for 1 microsecond, and that if I were comfortable, he wants to spend the entire life of his with me. But he just couldn't handle the thought of another man even touching me, and he said that he just can't, even for his life, share me with anyone, and that I'm his and he's mine. Mine and mine alone, and I'm his and only his. He said he isn't trying to justify what he had done, and what he had done was wrong and unforgivable. But he said that he hopes I can understand the circumstances that made him do this, and that how much he doesn't want to lose me and can never ever share me with anyone, and that he loves me the most, and that he'd do anything for me, and begged me to be transparent when I'm bored in the marriage, so we can talk it out and work through it and pull through, like always, and for any reason that I feel upset or have a problem with. At this point, we both were breaking down. He tried to come closer to touch and comfort me, and I let him. I wrapped my arms around him and didn't let go. We hugged forever and cried our hearts out. When he finally pulled back and he kissed me for God knows how long, I don't want to lose him. I love this man, and I want to be around him forever and ever. We fell asleep on the couch with me on top of him. When we woke up and had breakfast, then we burned the divorce papers and the note in out backyard and used to the remnants of the combustion as manure for our plantations. After that, we took a bath and we just snuggled. I never let go, and so did he. We held each other for hours until we were okay-ish. We got up and he made lunch while I hugged him from behind, and then we ate and snuggled. He fell asleep, and I'm typing this while watching him sleep. He's still reaching out for me, and his hand is on my thigh. We discussed and will consult a therapist for the both of us to counter the things he has in his mind. The more I look at him, the more I smile, because I know I've found the one for me. Story 2. Updated. My fiance's best friend is making my life a living hell. My fiance has the biggest heart, would literally give you the shirt, pants, and hat off his body if you asked for it. He's a recovering people pleaser, and I get it because I also used to be a people pleaser. We've been together 5+ years. A few months ago, I started picking up on his best friend making some not-so-nice comments towards me. I'm trying to be vague, but let's just say this friend is the type to read who in the room would be most affected by being picked on, and then he picks and picks and picks on them until they can't take it anymore. Nobody ever really holds him accountable for this, and unfortunately, I have somehow become his favorite target. I tried to put up with these comments, but it started getting really elaborate. The friend would make up lies about me saying things I never said. He once called me in front of all our friends, my fiancé included, just to yell, "You're a bad friend," into the phone and then hang up. There's so much to it that I can't share because I'm trying to be somewhat anonymous. It started having an effect on me and my mental health, and I ended up having a full breakdown where I told my fiancé how much this was all starting to hurt me. The first time I broke down over this, he said he would talk to his friend about teasing, messing with me less. He then told me his friend was sorry and that he'd be keeping an ear out for any other comments, and he'd jump to my defense if it happened again. A few weeks later, I had a second breakdown over all this. The situation itself is hitting a very specific childhood trauma trigger for me, and he admitted that his friend didn't actually apologize. He actually said he was sorry I was too sensitive to understand his humor. At that point, I told my fiancé my friendship with this person is over and I want zero contact from here on out, even if it means I have to miss out on events and parties that I'd otherwise love to go to. He agreed with me that all of this is being done with the intention to get a rise out of me, and that even if we tried to get through to this friend, he's so diabolical that we could never fully trust him to not treat me at least a little bit shitty. My fiancé kept asking if this meant he had to quit the project they're working on. I told him I would never tell him he had to because I know how much it means to him. But in all honesty, the fact that this person is treating me so poorly that I'm having physical stress reactions isn't enough for him to want to cut this person off does hurt a lot. The fact that it isn't a deal breaker for him is probably always going to sting a little. He's not confrontational at all, and I always knew that. But it's not about confrontation. It's about standing in my corner, and I can't spend the rest of my life with someone who isn't in my corner. This friend is getting married to my best friend in a few months, and we're both supposed to be in the wedding, but I really have no clue how. I get a literal knot in my stomach anytime his name is even mentioned now. I have seen this friend one time since all of this came to a head, and he was so over the top nice to me that it came off as cocky. I had the second breakdown a few days afterwards because I realized I'm possibly going to spend the rest of my life on edge and on guard anytime this person is even somewhat in my vicinity, even if they aren't actively fucking with me. I don't know how to come to terms with the fact that my fiancé was willing to lie to me on his shitty friend's behalf, but he's not willing to stand in my corner against him. I think it'll always hurt. This guy was supposed to be the best man in our wedding, and as a result, we haven't been talking much about wedding plans. I think if he's still planning on this friend being in our wedding, I may have to call it off for my own sanity, and that sucks so bad. This is fucking eating me alive. I love my fiancé so much. I love his big heart and the way he loves with all of it. But he loves some truly wretched people, and I don't know if he'll enforce any boundaries with those people before the lack of boundaries becomes too much for me to handle. I'm just hurt and hurting, and I just want whatever outcome to play out so I can stop feeling so guilty and awful all the time. Now for the updates. Never thought I'd actually update this account out of sheer fucking embarrassment, but I wanted to share this for those who encouraged me to put myself first. I want you all to know my partner absolutely came through and protected me in this. We spent all this time since my last post up until last week communicating and trying to find a resolution and walking through how it got this bad. He took a lot of accountability for that. This is not a case of me giving in. He understands fully that this has only got so bad because it's never been handled correctly, and he had a major hand in that. There were so many more layers to this than a Reddit post ever could have conveyed. The bottom line is we are closer than ever, and after a lot of talking, we decided on my partner sending a firm but not unkind message to his friend, explaining the behaviors, explaining that they were hurting his partner, and that it needed to stop. He asked to write up the first draft, and we could go over it together to try to perfect it. Reddit, please know the first draft my partner wrote was so spot on what I needed to read that it instantly shifted us into us versus the problem mode when we'd been stuck butting heads for weeks. He laid everything out so clearly and in ways that we hadn't discussed, so I know it came from him. We had to tone down a lot of the big emotions. We really, truly gave the message its best shot to address the situation without being hostile. We knew the response would be bad no matter what, but I don't think anything could have fucking prepared us. This man went full scorched earth and blew up everything almost immediately. He insulted my partner. He told him these events didn't happen the way I claim they do. He demanded they meet up alone with a mediator. He even threatened to reach out to my partner's parents to fill them in, which is probably the moment we stopped taking his responses seriously. All of us are almost in our 30s. If once wasn't enough, he threatened it twice. We actually had to call them and warn them that he would be showing up at their place later this week and not to open the door. There's still a good chance he'll attempt it. We stayed respectful throughout all of this, which I feel good about. We didn't stoop to his level. We didn't insult anyone. We asked for basic human respect, and somehow it blew up spectacularly. In the end, we both received a massive wall of text from my now ex-best friend, fully backing up her man and telling her side of the story, which is so insanely far off from what actually happened that all I can do is laugh. We've been shifting from crying to being dumbstruck to just straight up laughing because of the absurdity. I went into this thinking she was brainwashed, but it turns out I was wrong. They're a perfect match. I wish them all the best. I am sending them one last message, setting the record straight, which my partner and I decided together was the best approach apart from just ghosting, before moving on from this entirely. I'm going to make it very clear this is done. Zero contact indefinitely, and I will never look back. My partner and I both deserve way better friends, and we both see that so clearly now. I am so fucking glad I learned my friend's true colors before we dropped $800 on a hotel for their wedding. Thank you to everyone who was kind. Not only did I put myself first in the end, but my partner did too. We're going to take this week in stride and process it all. Grieve the friendships we once thought were forever. And at the end of the week, we have a conveniently timed vacation to my partner's family cottage. I think we're going to come out of this stronger because we already feel it. Again, thank you to those who had something productive to say, and I've made my peace with all the rest. I guess if the guy does something else outlandish, maybe I'll update, but for now, this chapter is closed, and I'm so ready for it to start collecting dust. Hey all, told myself I wouldn't update again, but there has been a pretty massive development. Not sure if anyone is really that invested in this shit show, but it's actually helped me to type it out the first couple times, so maybe I'll feel a bit better if I do it again. Sorry in advance for how disgustingly long this is gonna be. Lol. A few weeks ago, the asshole showed his entire hand. He sent my partner a message at 11 a.m. on a Monday, and it is the most unhinged shit I've ever read. I'll sum it up for you. The asshole said he believed my partner is in an abusive relationship and he should leave me for his own happiness. He claimed he has evidence to support this. He admitted this was the big message he would have given had they met in person in the very beginning. He also told him he was worried sending the message would make things even worse for my partner if I saw it. He said I am someone he can never forgive and he will never want to associate with ever again. He ended it by saying he hopes he'll leave me so my partner can apologize for breaking up the band. Yes, it was a band, and they can start to repair their friendship. Obviously, a whole lot to digest. I know y'all don't know me, but I am obviously not abusing my partner, lol. I shouldn't even have to clarify that, but I will anyways. This guy is 100% excommunicated from our lives indefinitely. Not that he already wasn't at that point. In light of this new info, I'd like to share some of the things the asshole has done over the past year or so that made me realize he was fucking with me. But I didn't clock at the time because, much like some of you, I thought I was just being sensitive. My partner and I joined some pals, including asshole, to play a game together online, Lethal Company if you're familiar. I have many hours in the game and know the monsters quite well. So I was pretty confused when I was slaughtered by a bracken, 3 game days in a row, almost immediately upon entering the facility and splitting from the group. I mentioned at one point that I'd be having a lot more fun if I wasn't dying so quickly every time, and the asshole mockingly said it must be a skill issue. After a few more deaths, this time with me at least getting to explore a bit before getting my neck snapped, I asked if anyone had the Control Company mod installed, which allows the server host to play as the monsters. Suddenly, the asshole had to go, and the lobby conveniently disbanded. I never brought my suspicions up to anyone because I knew it would be my word against his, and I had no solid proof, so I wasn't positive. But when I finally mentioned it to my partner a couple of weeks ago, after that text was sent, he told me he remembers the asshole staying on the ship and secretly going AFK multiple times in the game, which lines up pretty perfectly with my in-game deaths. When I said the asshole was being too nice, the time we saw him after my partner called him about his comments affecting me, I don't think I explained it right. My partner and I were sitting at a table at a local show, and the asshole sat next to me, not my partner, and wouldn't stop touching my arm and asking me if I was enjoying the show. Multiple times, he would just stare at me and grin as wide as he could. If I had just been told something I did hurt my friend's partner, I don't think I'd be all over them the way this guy was to me. Hell, if it were me, I'd at least throw a sorry about the other night their way. It felt like he was gloating that he got away with it. It was comically over the top and made me and my partner very uncomfortable. We talked on the drive home, and we both felt the same about it. I was hanging out with my friend at her place, and asshole was there, so we all decided to head to my place and hang with my partner as a foursome. Right before we left, the asshole asked if I knew our mutual friend's big secret. I did not. I'm also not very close with this friend. My friend already knew and told him they should just tell me because I wouldn't be that invested. But asshole told her my partner didn't know yet, and they couldn't tell me until we all got to my place and told him. He kept going on about how big the secret was, and insisted that I'd freak out once I knew. I made a comment about how we were taking different cars and there was a chance my friend would just tell me on the way. So he looked her dead in the face and told her that he'd be genuinely upset with her if she told me before he told my partner. We respected that. When we got to my place, it was obvious my partner already knew. The big secret was simply that our friend was dating someone. I found out later that the asshole had called my partner the minute he got to his car and told him that both me and my friend didn't know and they should put on a big show of telling both of us together. My partner had known for weeks and the friend group had openly discussed it a few times, and it hadn't come up with me because, as I said, I'm not very close with this friend. I got baited, lol. Truly exhausting behavior. My partner had no idea what happened until I told him about the conversation at Asshole's place, and my friend didn't say a word in my defense. I typed out exactly why this was ridiculous once all this came to a head, and they both refused to even acknowledge it. I dyed my hair blue. My first outing with the new hair was with the whole group. I went all out on my makeup and outfit and was pretty stoked on it. I'm not exaggerating in the slightest when I say the asshole made 20+ jokes about my hair in the span of about 15 minutes. It was pretty much every time he interacted with me, which he seemed to go out of his way to do specifically so he could make jokes about my hair. If you've ever had blue hair, then you've probably heard most of the jokes he was making. I laughed along for the first few. I can definitely handle banter, as it's a huge part of almost all of my friendships. But after about 20 jokes, I finally said it was getting old and asked if he had anything nice to say. He responded by making another 5 jokes with a big shit-eating grin on his face and implied I was too sensitive. There truly was no off switch with the guy. Anyways, just wanted you all to know I'm not crazy. The asshole has literally been trying to drive me mad for at least a year, and it almost worked. My partner and I have had many conversations about all this, and I know a lot of people had a lot to say about him, but please know this was eating both of us alive. He wanted to make things work so badly. He wanted to at least try to salvage their 20+ year friendship. But he understands now that was never possible, and he knows neither of us deserve to be treated the way the asshole treated us. This was never just about me. If he was a good friend to my partner, maybe things would be different and we could have tried harder to get through to him, but this is just who he is at his core. He's known for being a prick for no reason and lying about it, and there's no space in either of our lives for that. Anyways, I doubt the asshole can top that message, so this is the last update I'll give. My partner and I are coming out of this way stronger. The asshole has completely brainwashed my friend, and I've made my peace with it. She can have him, lol. Godspeed to the both of them. Thanks to all who showed understanding. Hopefully, this is all going to be behind us very soon once the dust fully settles.